Good afternoon, Excellencies, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to thank the organizers for these invitations, and it is my greatest pleasure to moderate this session with our distinguished speaker, His Excellency Ambassador Fernando Arias, Director General of the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. The Convention remains the cornerstone of the Non-Proliferation and Disarmament regime, and the end of destruction of declared chemical weapons stockpiles last year was a key milestone. However, chemical threats remains an increasingly challenging threat in a challenging geostrategic and geopolitical environment. The threat from non-state actors remains salient, and reports and allegations of use involving state actors undermines the norms. Preserving and strengthening the norm against chemical weapons remains more important than ever. The increasing pace of scientific and technological advances raises challenges, but also offers opportunities. The potential impact of technologies such as nanotechnology, biotechnology, additive manufacturing, and perhaps even more artificial intelligence has been identified for some years now. However, these technologies are now more accessible and are increasingly used in the industry. Scientific expertise is thus a key component to be able to assess this impact. In this context, it is important to reflect upon the role of civil society and how to engage and raise awareness among an ever-expanding range of stakeholders. In this respect, a number of valuable education and outreach programs and activities have been launched in the framework of the organization of the OPCW. But without further delay, let me give the floor to Ambassador Arias. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nexon. Dear ambassadors, dear friends, I wish to start by extending my gratitude to the European Union Disarmament and Non-Proliferation Consortium for organizing this important conference. The participation of diplomats and experts from both near and far testifies to the great relevance of this very timely event. We meet at a time of increased geopolitical tensions marked by complex conflicts in the world. The war in Gaza started over a year ago, while the war in Ukraine is reaching the end of its third year. The current strain on the international system is deepening divides. Accordingly, the exchange of ideas and viewpoints that take place in conferences such as this are critical to guiding decision-making. When I took up my duties as the Director General, one of my first activities was to travel to Brussels to participate in the EU Non-Proliferation and Disarmament Conference. It was the 18th of December, 2018. I remember very well this day. Since then, the world, the European Union, the OPCW have experienced significant changes. The organization, the OPCW, has reached major objectives and confronted serious challenges. But we can say that during this period of time, we have faced the challenges I mentioned, and we have been delivering. In July 2023, we reached, as many of you know, the historic milestone verifying in the United States of America the complete destruction of all declared chemical weapons stockpiles in the world. This marked the elimination of an entire category of weapons of mass destruction. In the meantime, our work continues in relation to verifying the destruction of chemical weapons abandoned by Japan in China at the end of the Second World War. I mention this because I must acknowledge that this means that we have in front of us still a monumental task for the coming years. Indeed, more than 100,000 of abandoned chemical weapons containing chemical agents and explosives, still active in most cases, remain in China to be destroyed. In terms of universality, the Chemical Weapons Convention continues to be the most widely adhered to disarmament treaty in the world, with 193 states parties to it. And we hope to soon welcome South Sudan as the 194th state party. On this point, I wish to thank the European Union for its support in our universality activities. We will never be completely free of chemical weapons threats until all countries have acceded to the Convention. As you know, 4 states parties in the world are not yet members of the Chemical Weapons Convention. We now often hear that we are in the post-destruction phase. It sounds like a great success. Well, it is true, but only in part. It is true if we consider that the destruction of the declared stockpiles of chemical weapons meant that more than 70,000 tons of the most dangerous chemicals have been destroyed under very stringent verification of the OPCW. But what we must bear in mind is that 2 very important members of the organization, China and Japan, continue to make serious technical and personal efforts and devote impressive financial resources. Only this year, Japan has financed with $360 million the project for the destruction of the abandoned weapons I mentioned earlier. At this moment, we are placing, as you can imagine, a particular focus on preventing the reemergence of chemical weapons. A big challenge, taking into account the political situation in the world and the progress in science and technology. Despite our progress, the use and threat of use of chemical weapons is an ongoing international concern. Over the past decade, such use has been documented in Iraq, in Malaysia, in the Syrian Arab Republic, at the United Kingdom, and in the Russian Federation. In particular, our work in Syria, that began in 2013, is still not complete by far not complete. We continue to address the Syrian chemical weapons dossier through 3 teams: the Declaration Assessment Team, the Fact-Finding Mission, and the Investigation and Identification Team. For more than 10 years now, the Declaration Assessment Team has strived to clarify the shortcomings in the Syria's initial declaration that was produced more than 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago, the initial declaration of Syria was produced and is still by far not complete. Of the 26 issues identified by the Secretariat in this original declaration of the Syrian Arab Republic, only 7 have been resolved, while 19 remain outstanding, some of which are of serious concern. 2 of these issues related to the possible full-scale development and production of chemical weapons. This may have been occurred at 2 declared chemical weapons-related sites where no activity was supposed to have taken place according to Syria. But the inspectors of the organizations were there, and they took samples and posed questions that have not yet been responded. For its part, the fact-finding mission continues gathering information and analyzing data regarding 5 groups of allegations covering over 15 incidents. As for the investigation and identification team, it has issued 4 reports to date, identifying undoubtedly, without any kind of doubt, without any kind of possible question, identifying the Syrian armed forces as using chemical weapons in 5 instances against their own people, and in 1 case, identifying the terrorist of ISIL as responsible of using chemical weapons. This team, the IIT, continues with its investigation and will issue further reports in due course. The identification of ISIL as a perpetrator of chemical weapons attack in Syria also highlights that we have to face the ever-present risk posed by non-state actors. And the risk is now higher than ever, due to the progress in science and technology that we can comment later. The organization has an open-ended working group on terrorism. This group continues to play an important role in strengthening the organization's efforts to counter chemical terrorism. In Ukraine, both sides of the conflict have made numerous allegations against one another of use of chemical weapons, including riot control agents. For the first time in the history of the OPCW, 2 member states of the organization are at war and accuse each other of chemical weapons use. Obviously, the use of any toxic chemical at war is totally prohibited under the Convention. The use of riot control agents as a method of warfare is also prohibited under the Convention. Consequently, neither Ukraine nor Russia are allowed to use riot control agents at war. The Secretariat of the organization has been providing assistance and protection to support Ukraine upon its request. This support includes, just in a few words, summarizing it, training and advice to experts, as well as procurement of protection, detection, and identification equipment. The financial resources devoted to these activities have so far reached over 2.5 million euros from special fund financed by voluntary contributions from states parties. Distinguished friends, the rapid pace of scientific and technological changes presents new problems in front of us, new challenges, as it is commonly said. To maintain its technical preparedness for the future and to meet the ongoing needs of the states parties, the organization must adapt to these challenges, and we are doing so. The new Center for Chemistry and Technology of the organization was inaugurated last year by His Majesty Willem-Alexander, King of the Netherlands. The center is already fully operational. It has been enhancing our ability to maintain a robust verification regime, to conduct research, analysis, and to train our people and our experts, as well as delivering capacity building programs to the benefit of the states parties. After a year of exploration and evaluation for a better understanding of artificial intelligence in the context of the organization, the Executive Council has decided to include an agenda item on emerging technologies for all its future sessions. This is an important step, as you can imagine, as it will allow for discussions that will assist the Member States in determining the direction of the OPCW in this important area. The Secretariat of the organization has adopted a very proactive approach, as the cross-cutting technology of artificial intelligence has an impact in several very relevant areas for us. The overarching activity of artificial intelligence will have a direct effect, and is having already a direct effect in several examples I will quote: laboratory automation, 3D printing, nanotechnology, cloud laboratories, easy creation of new formulas of extremely new toxic chemicals, drones powered by artificial intelligence, and of course, AI will power the possibilities of disinformation, which for us is essential because we are involved in dossiers that are related to war. And unfortunately, I have once again to repeat that the first victim of a war is the truth. And this information is everywhere, and artificial intelligence will help to produce confusion and misguide the people. AI is truly transformational. It is enhancing the capabilities of other technologies while also accelerating advances across multiple fields. I have given a few examples. The OPCW, as you know, is a technical organization. The need to keep it abreast of the new technologies is more important now than ever. No countermeasures can be adopted if the organization lacks the human, financial, and material means to do the job the states parties are expecting from us. I just mentioned that with AI, new formulas of extremely dangerous chemicals can be easily created. However, I wish to underline that the next step to create a formula is to produce the chemical. And fortunately, I can say that the production of those new chemicals at the moment is not an easy thing. For the production of those new chemicals, those new extremely dangerous chemicals, at the moment, relevant financial means, special equipment, and significant expertise are required. It entails that the production is currently an extremely difficult task to be carried out by non-state actors, terrorists. However, as the power of AI is developing rapidly, every indication is that soon, and we don't know exactly when, but soon, AI-powered production will be within the reach of many more people, including non-state actors. In the last few months, we have been addressing the situation I mentioned through a number of actions. The OPCW Scientific Advisory Board has been evaluating AI's potential implications for the Convention for some time now. In June 2022, it held a workshop on AI in chemistry in partnership with the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. In April this year, the Secretariat convened the Secretariat of the organization, of course, convened a key meeting with AI experts external to the organization, private companies, leading to a report that was shared with all the states parties. In June, we launched the so-called AI Research Challenge to explore the possible benefits of AI to the convention and the functioning of the organization. I would like to express my appreciation to the European Union and the United Kingdom for funding this initiative. Also in June, I participated as the keynote speaker in the conference in Berlin entitled AI and Weapons of Mass Destruction, organized with great success by the German Federal Foreign Office. At the last July session of the Executive Council, I announced my decision to establish a temporary working group on artificial intelligence. We built on all these efforts last month with the first ever global conference on the role of AI in advancing the implementation of the Convention, held in Rabat and co-organized by the Kingdom of Rabat and the OPCW. This conference affirmed that AI will bring significant conceptual and practical changes to the Convention's implementation. Its outcomes will guide the efforts of the Secretariat and the states parties to adapt to our new reality. In closing, distinguished friends, the situation I have referred to is in a summary way, in a very short way, highlights the need for the OPCW to remain vigilant and adaptable. Our work is far from complete and is ongoing. The full support from the states parties and the international community remains essential to ensure that the Convention continues to be an effective arms control instrument. The responsibility is on us to protect the legacy we have received with this instrument of peace and security called the OPCW. As a vital partner in promoting global peace and security, the European Union's continued support for the OPCW is essential. I wish to thank the European Union and its member states for everything they do to support the organization, and express my appreciation to the Disarmament and Non-Proliferation Consortium for organizing this conference and granting me the privilege to be here today with all of you. Thank you very much. The questions are from here or from there?
Thank you very much, Ambassador Arias, for highlighting to us all these achievements and initiatives, as well as all the remaining challenges. I will immediately open the floor to questions, as we are running a little bit late, so please.
Thank you. Markus Leinonen from the External Action Service. Director General, you referred to artificial intelligence in your remarks. I was wondering if you could go a bit more into detail into the risks and benefits of artificial intelligence to the actual implementation of the convention. Thank you.
Another question? Yes.
Thank you. Marcy Fowler, Open Nuclear Network in Vienna. Thank you, Director General, for your interesting statement. You mentioned disinformation in the chemical weapons context. I wonder if you would have any words of wisdom for other international verification organizations, as OPCW and the CWC have faced disinformation, both within the framework itself and also targeted at the organization. So might you have any words of wisdom as how international organizations can best respond to disinformation in the WMD realm, as well as how civil society might be able to protect the truth? Thank you.
And one last question over there.
Thank you very much. My name is Haley Wingo, and I'm from the Verification Research Training and Information Center in London. Excuse me. My question is about the most recent meeting of the Executive Council, which took place in October. And so far, from the documents published to me, especially the provisional agenda, it's not clear yet whether the allegations of riot control agents in Ukraine will be addressed in the upcoming Conference of State Parties. So I was wondering if you would be willing to speak to some of the thought in the room about that. Thank you.
Is the Conference of the Party? I didn't understand very well what she requested exactly.
Please, could you just repeat your questions a little bit slowly?
Thank you. Sorry. My question, yes, was about the most recent meeting of the Executive Council this past month in October. And from the provisional agenda that's been published, it doesn't seem like the allegations about the use of riot control agents in Ukraine will be addressed kind of substantially within the Conference of State Parties that will take place at the end of this month. And I was just wondering if you could share any insights on that with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Ambassador Arias.
Well, let's start by commenting on the risks and the benefits of artificial intelligence. Thank you very much, Ambassador Leinonen, for this question, which is an inevitable question at the moment. We have been trying to understand the meaning of artificial intelligence for us, exploring, evaluating, and thinking that there are risks and benefits, but the benefits sometimes can be apparent. They are not clear. I will refer first to the risk. Clearly, artificial intelligence is a leading subject of discussion globally. Everybody speaks about AI. AI is affecting us because, as I said, it is a cross-cutting technology. It's affecting several fields. I will mention now several of them that affect directly our work. It is, for us, clearly a game changer, as the Secretary General of the United Nations said. The cross-cutting technology of artificial intelligence means that this is a tool that has a double use, and this is the risk for us. Let's say, for instance, about laboratory equipment. Automation is a very good thing for the chemical industry. Cloud laboratories is a very good thing also for producing chemicals in a more efficient way. Nanotechnology is a fantastic thing because the space necessary is reduced, the equipment is reduced, everything is cheaper, everything is easier. But artificial intelligence-powered laboratory means also that when used for malicious purposes, they are cheaper to equip. They are easy to equip, for instance, without using international trade, because 3D printing powered by artificial intelligence allow to produce equipment locally without international trade, which means much more difficult to detect. Automation means that possible terrorists or possible rogue states can use very sophisticated laboratories with very few people, which means more difficult to detect. Smaller laboratories. In the old days, for instance, when we had to destroy the chemical weapons program of Syria, they have 27 production facilities. They were detected, most of them by satellite. Some others were in the mountains. Huge facilities. Easy to detect, difficult to hide. Now, the production is cheaper, the production is faster, the production is much more difficult to detect because the places to produce a secret program of chemical weapons is much smaller. Additionally, in those laboratories, it is very easy to create new molecules, hundreds, thousands of molecules of new toxic chemicals, without using the precursors well known that are in what we call the schedules. The schedules we have, as you know, are the list of the most dangerous chemicals, and we inspect them. They are under international supervision. But now, with AI, it is possible to produce formulas of classic chemicals and new chemicals without the precursors, and to produce classic chemicals without the classic precursors, which is another challenge. The algorithms, the large language models, together with the computers, sometimes quantum computers, but we don't need quantum computers. Sometimes with simple computers, it is easy to generate those formulas. Drones. A drone power with AI is much more powerful, much more accurate. The range is bigger. And the drones can be bought in the commercial circuit easily, and with a payload of 10 liters easily, which means that the dissemination means of extremely dangerous chemicals are increasing with artificial intelligence. But let's pick something that is not related to chemicals. The data quality. Everybody is very happy because we have large language models and the computers that tell us what we have to do and or give us fantastic results. But for us, when we have to work, we have to deliver with 100% accuracy, with total guarantee that what we produce is reliable. Who can tell you, for instance, that the large language models that everybody comments are fed with accurate data, with healthy data, with complete data, with updated data? There is no guarantee. And how can we clean those large language models to have the guarantee that the data we used, and by millions, are reliable? For us, it is a very big challenge because those large language models can be the object of manipulation, of kind of new cyber attacks with malicious purposes. The business continuity with artificial intelligence is also a challenge. When we built the new Center for Chemistry and Technology in The Hague, one of our goals was new Center for Chemistry and Technology will be equipped with everything so that if we have one day a problem in the main building, the business continuity is guaranteed. It is. But if we rely too much in AI, the day, and this day will arrive, when the programs we will have of AI fail, perhaps we don't have the human expertise to replace AI because the staff members lost the motivation, lost the expertise, and the business continuity is not guaranteed, which is something that we cannot accept. But there is another thing that this is the result of our analysis in the last few months. When we, all of us, any one of us, is using artificial intelligence for production in a company, for producing a report, for using open sources information with data that are there. They are there, but they are difficult to reach without artificial intelligence. But who can tell you that the algorithm used is transparent? There is an opacity of the algorithms. The algorithms are very complicated formulas. When we were at school, we were taught to deduce a formula for calculating something, and we were implementing it. But before it, we were taught how to reach the formula. But with the algorithms related to artificial intelligence, we cannot do it because they are very complicated. Who can guarantee us that we can clarify the opacity of the algorithms? And additionally, I started to tell my people, we are going to use artificial intelligence, and we started already. But we have to think that we must not make the mistake to buy a Ferrari from going from here to the central station. And it can happen. In the 90s, we all remember, some of you, well, you are much more younger than I am, but I remember very well that with the first computers we had, with Microsoft Windows, we were getting very complicated computers for writing simple letters or reports. I always remember they're giving us a Ferrari for doing something very simple. In the case of artificial intelligence, we must not forget that before using it, it's necessary to analyze the needs, to analyze the advantages, because artificial intelligence means that we have to buy the licenses, we have to maintain the licenses, and we need to have the experts for using those licenses, and this has a cost. Last, related to regarding illicit, malicious activities. We must keep in mind, in the field of generally weapons, but we are speaking about chemical weapons, that using artificial intelligence, teams, people with malicious purposes have the need of involving less amount of people. They can use a smaller space for producing their activities. They don't need the procurement of international trade because artificial intelligence-powered 3D printing allows to produce equipment locally in any country without buying in London or in Paris or Washington sophisticated equipment. That the extremely dangerous chemicals, very well known now, can be produced without the classic precursors, and the financial resources needed are already, but will be, substantially lower than now to develop secret programs. This is as far as in the artificial intelligence. Disinformation. Disinformation is really an increasing problem. The only way to face disinformation is to give a kind of certification to reliable sources, to educate the people so that they are not manipulated, and to spread reliable information and to be credible. But this information needs to develop urgently partnerships, because this information is everywhere, and in the field of our activity, we have to face this information constantly with things that are pure lies. These are pure lies. Benefits? Shall I say something about the benefits of artificial intelligence? I have here a little note, and yeah. Well, the benefits for us are very clear at the beginning. We worked for 6 languages, the languages of the United Nations, as you know. And for us, using artificial intelligence for the translations is fantastic. We will save a lot of money, it will be much faster, very accurate, and we are starting with the tests. We are also starting with the data mining and analysis in real time of information related to international trade of chemicals, essential to detect illicit activities, using most of the time open sources information. AI has given us much more power for this. In case of forensics, mainly in our investigations to establish what has been happening and to inform the member states. For us, forensics is crucial. And forensics, as you know, involves many, many different areas of knowledge. AI is crucial because AI-powered forensics in general is a marvel, I have to say. And for us, it's really incredible. We are starting testing also the use of artificial intelligence to produce text. We are producing big amounts of text in several languages, reports, official documents, presentations. Artificial intelligence will be used for the contamination technologies. You know that if an attack with Novichok, for instance, takes place, the cleaning of the area can take months. In the United Kingdom, in Salisbury, with the means, with the knowledge, with the money the United Kingdom has, they needed 1 year to clean the area, 1 year. And they had to destroy the 11, 12 vehicles that were the first responders, ambulances, police vehicles. There was no way to guarantee that they were cleaned. With AI, the cleaning techniques will be developed. AI well implemented will mean that the technical secretariat of the organization will be stronger, which means deterrence. The better we will be, the more benefit will be for the member states, because if an attack is prepared, the potential perpetrator will think it twice, because they will know that with the means we have already, additionally with the means AI will provide us, we will be able to trace the origin of the chemical, the signature, as some people say, and we will be able to find the perpetrators. And we are having investigated so much. But, well, to end with this field, we need to keep on working on this. We need an expert in artificial intelligence in the technical secretariat. We don't have anybody. If you ask me in any one of your countries, send a team of experts because we have suffered an attack with chemical weapons and we don't know exactly what it is, we can send a team and we'll help you. But if you tell me at the moment something with artificial intelligence has occurred, a new chemical with instruments we don't know, I will tell you we don't have the expertise for the moment. We are building it up. And the conference. The conference of the states parties and Ukraine. With Ukraine, we have been very active. We have an open relation with the mission of the Russian Federation, the embassy of the Russian Federation in The Hague, and with the one of Ukraine. We receive a lot of information. They send us a lot of information with mutual accusations. We studied it in depth. For the time being, what we have received in the open notes verbal we received is insufficient. And above all, the Russian Federation is not happy because they say, well, we have been provided you, yes, but we worked with the highest international standards. And if you want to base your accusations, you need to bring more. With Ukraine, upon its request, we cannot take the initiative to go to any place to provide assistance if it is not upon a request of a state party. Ukraine has requested our assistance, and we have been training them. Three groups of experts, very competent people, I have to say, 3 groups of 20 people each. We have been training, and this was in person. We have been training them online. We have provided them 76 or 74 very sophisticated units for detection and identification of chemicals. And we are keeping, we have provided them also advice in protection and identification of chemicals. This is based on Article 10 of the Convention. Related to Article 8, for the time being, I am not authorized to comment anything. But we can say that we are active and we are working. We are working to clarify what is happening there.
So thank you very much, Ambassador Arias, for this presentation and especially for your thought-provoking reflection about artificial intelligence. And I'm sure that there will be other opportunities in the next session to continue these discussions as it will be dedicated to the reemergence of chemical threats. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.